Welcome to this look at a new mod map to Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on The Memory. This is a new map to FS25. It's by Princess Black, 549.02 megabytes download. There are 8 required mods which will download automatically. Anyway, that being said, when I first reviewed this in FS22, it had some problems, which got an update and got fixed. I'm glad to say there are no issues with it. I say there are no. I haven't tested the map completely. I haven't put hundreds of hours or anything on it. But for the respect of doing a map tour, everything seems to be A-OK. So, we'll talk about stock in a minute. There are no custom crop types. Contracts are available, the ones we're kind of used to seeing on FS25 now. There are NPCs on the map as we go around in some very interesting locations. You'll see as we get round to them. I have to say I was quite surprised. As far as the mods go, actually, we'll look at the map first. Let's do the map first. So the map looks like this. Now, I have taken the liberty of putting some money in. I'm on New Farmer, and you normally start with your 100,000. And obviously on the settings at the start now, you can change that so you can start with 1 million or whatever you want to start with. So I put some extra money in because we have got some locations around the map which need to be purchased. So I'm going to purchase them now. Field prices and plot prices actually aren't too bad. There's a whole load of forestry, which isn't too expensive. So if forestry is your thing, that's great. There is some forestry. If it's not, there's plenty of field work to do. Don't you worry. And on that note, field prices are pretty good, pretty average, you know. We've got some extra productions and stuff in here. And a lot of the Farming Simulator 25 stuff is incorporated in, which is very cool. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start up here and I'll buy these plots up, and as we go around, obviously then I'll show you what's at them. So we've got plot 177. Now these plots, compared to the field prices, are not as cheap. I will say that straight off the bat. So as you can see, that one's a little bit more pricey. If we come down, just thinking the route I was going to take for doing the map tour. Oh yeah, we've got the big old biogas plant area here. That's plot 175. As you can see, 3,740,000. Oh, that's going to hit the wallet. And then we've got plot here, 174. We have then got, we come down to here, we've got plot 175. We've then got over here, plot 172. We have got all up to the top here. This one's a biggie as well. Plot 170, just over 1.5 million. And then we have got, have I lost it? There we go. Just here, plot 171, just there. Again, 1.2, so they're up there. So those plots are now all purchased. I haven't come across, that's not to say there aren't any, and if I've missed one, I apologise. I haven't come across any animal pastures. We'll say that as well. And then we'll head round. Now, I'll do the same, and I'm doing it now on all my map tours. If we go down here and we look at our productions, production chains, we've got ones that are owned. Now, we start with, on New Farmer 2, we start with 2 raised beds at the start farm. These additional ones have been added in now because we bought the biogas plant. So we get the biogas plant, which gives us that sugar beet chipper. We get 2 raised beds at one of the other farms, and we get a garden at one of the farms as well. So those are added in. So if you're coming onto New Farmer and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, I haven't got all of those, that's because we just bought all those extra plots. So when we get to all of these, and then we go up to the top and across there, what's available on the map are all of these. So potato processing plant preserve food factory, obviously that's an FS25 one. We've got a soup factory, spinnery, sugar mill, tailor mill. This is a different one. We've got Vine Gardens juice, so there's the juice maker there. We've got apple orchard. The bakery is an interesting one because that does apple pie, cheesecake and chocolate cake as well. So that's added in. Cherry orchard. The dairy, I think as far as I could tell, does standard stuff. Pear plantation. And then the sawmill is pretty much standard as well. So when we get to those locations, I will show you the locations, but I'm not necessarily going to say, look, this does this, this does that. These are the recipes, because they're all here. If you're not sure what they are, you can come and have a look. Like, for example, there, when we go to the 3 different orchards, the apple, pear and cherry orchard, the recipe is 200 of manure, 400 of water will give you your cherry, your apple or your pear out from there. So I was thinking, actually, the pear plantation, let's go to the bakery. Did we have anything that actually required pears? Weingarten's juice, where was that? Apple and cherry. Maybe pears. Preserved food? No. Preserved food factory's that. Soup factory. Pear soup would be weird. Maybe the pears are just for, just to sell. So yeah, so I'm not going to go in and actually show you all the, the specifics for those. I mean, that would be possibly a little bit bonkers. The other thing as well, when I talk about slot counts, when we get to the start farm, what I've often done before is I will go in off camera, and if you can sell the buildings and stuff out of farms, I'll go around all the farm plots, sell all the buildings, all the stuff to see how low I can get the slot count. The warning for that on this map is, actually what we'll do, we'll start heading down towards the farm while I'm talking. What's nice as well is I remember on the previous version, when you started here, the sound of the water here at the waterfall was loud. It was crashing in your ears. And obviously now with the ripple effects as well, adds all this extra stuff. So, I've done it again. Sidetracked myself, and it doesn't matter. We're heading down to the main farm anyway. It might come back to me. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. And obviously we've got all the FS25, all the FS25 whiz-bangery. There are a few of these knocking around the map as well. We've got hydrants, there's water points knocking around. But obviously, there are plenty of modded ones, wells and things like that. Water taps and hydrant packs you can put in as well, but there are some around the map. So if you don't want to, you can take a whiz out to a hydrant and collect some water whenever you wish. So the start farm is here. Now this start farm is fairly expensive as well, and again comes with a little bit of a warning. I'm pretty sure I did the same warning on the 22 version, and that is that a couple of the farms are right up against the map edge. So if you try to sell, that's what I was talking about, selling buildings and stuff, yeah. If you try to sell the buildings, if I go into this menu here, I can't, that's as far forward as I'm pushing to get to the map edge. So you have to zoom in a little bit, and even then I still can't get to those buildings unless I go up onto another building. If it raises it, then it will give me the option. If I press demolish now, but there are still items you can't sell, and I found that at each of the farms. For example, some of the decorative stuff couldn't be removed. There's workshop triggers and stuff. I couldn't get the workshop triggers to sell either. So those things you need to be aware of. I haven't done that simply because at each of the farms there were things that remained. If you are going to do it, my advice, as always, is this. Save your game first. If you want to remove stuff at a farm, have a go at removing the items you want to remove. If they don't remove as you thought they were going to, make sure you've got autosave turned off. You need to make sure it's turned off. Because the last thing you want is to do some of these changes, then it auto-saves immediately and there's nothing you can do about it. So then, yeah, if it doesn't work how you was hoping it was going to, you couldn't remove the things you wanted to remove, you can always come back out to your previous save and then come back in again. That would be what I would do personally. Now, this farm area here, this is the one you start with on New Farmer. And we do start with, as well, a couple of fields around as well. So there's a few fields we own just around the main farm on New Farmer. Not many, just a few. So the ones that are green, we own those. This farm plot itself is fairly expensive as well. This comes in at 848 grand. So it's a big chunk of change, whichever way you look at it. But again, just something to be aware of. So at the main farm then, we've got to pick up an equipment. Should I talk about slot count now? 1,663 on New Farmer. Farm management start from scratch, 1,554. Difference between the slot counts is there's no equipment and machinery on farm management start from scratch. All the buildings and stuff are all still here, and they're the same all around the map. All the buildings are all still at all the other farms. You just don't start with the equipment and machinery that you start with on New Farmer. So we do have the pickup here. Sleep and wardrobe trigger just under the building here. Just over the way, we have got chicken pen. I suppose probably a good time to talk about build mode as well while we're here. Chickens, 165 of. We've got a cow pen just over here. 450 cows just here. And the icons are all pretty self-explanatory. These are part of the required mods. I have listed them in the description as well. They will download automatically, if you're wondering what those required mods are. They are listed. So actually, while we're doing that, let's go into build mode, because added in by the map maker on top of the required mods. Silos. Look at the wrong part of my notes. So here we've got this, the Farmer 500 for everything. So this is at all the farms. All the farms have one of these silos. It's a 5 million litre multi-fruit silo. There's one here at the main farm. just there. And all the other farms that we've just purchased, there's one at pretty much all of them as well. So that's been added in, a 5 million litre. If you don't like that, if you don't like multi-fruit, if you don't like the massive capacity, you can always remove it, stick in another one if you want to. We've also got a bale and pallet storage at 250, and we've got a liquid manure tank that's been added in by Princess Black. We have got under containers, we have got just down there, small petrol tank under the memory mod. We have also then got under tools, we've got a factory, vehicle workshop mod there, which is base game. The one that's been added in is 10 grand, which you'll see a few of these dotted around the map. We then come down to factories, and there's a whole load of the factories that have been put in here. So the various different ones that are on the map that are sort of slightly converted, changed, tailor shop, sawmill. And then we've got these additional ones, obviously the soup factory we're used to seeing. The sugar beet chipper, where was it? The bakery, obviously Weingartner's juice, that's been added in. The bakery, what's that? Oh, maybe that's not then. Oh, I thought that was available to place. But all these other ones are available to place around the map as you wish under factories. Then we come from there out to greenhouses. And we're going to see these in just a second. We've got raised beds and we've got a garden. The raised beds and garden are slightly different. We'll see a garden later on when we get to the final farm. We'll see the raised beds in a moment. But these do your regular Farming Simulator 25 greenhouse crops now, including your garlic, Napa cabbage, spring onion and chilies. But then we've also got under... Oh, it was under animals, actually. So you've got the required mods that have got some various different pens, but under horses there's a horse pasture just there under the memory, and then under chickens there's a chicken pasture just there under the memory as well. There was nothing under decorative objects, nothing over and above standard as regard to painting, texture palette, trees or plants. That was all pretty much standard. So there we go, that's our build mode. Let's whiz up past the back of the house. So talking about the raised beds, we've got two of the raised beds just here. There you go, one there and one there. Now, there's a trigger showing there. That trigger is for the fuel tank. So for refilling of the fuel tank, the trigger is actually just at the back of the barn here, because the fuel tank has been, and taking out the fuel tank is done here, has been put inside the little barn here. So again, it's one of those things, if you're here and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, I want to refuel, but there's no fuel in it. How do I fill it up? It's around the back. Workshop trigger is just here. Harvester and header, couple of tractors, and then the silo we were talking about, 5 million litre multi-fruit. We come around the way. Slurry tank is just there. Liquid manure tank. Cow. Oh, where's our trigger? There we go. Cow barn here for 140 cows. We've got a couple of different silage clamps. Slightly different sizes. I like the way they're built in, integrated into the map as well. And this is the thing, this is different because I'm pretty sure the required mods, because obviously the mods that are out at the moment are different to the required mods from the previous version, because the memory came out, I'll say fairly late, maybe not fairly late, on 22. So it does have a different feel to it kind of already, really. Now around the back here, if we go into the barn, we do have a feed mixer, which is empty because... Interestingly, these bits of equipment here, so we've got our our lime and fertilizer spreader, that actually already has stuff in it. That's got lime in it. Our fertilizer spreader already has fertilizer in it, so we can get going already. Our seeder already has seed and some fertilizer in it. Cultivator just there. And then, do we have some more equipment machinery? I'm trying to think. It wasn't in this one, it was the next one. All our grass work gear is in this one here. There we go. So our mower, tedder, windrower just in there. Forage wagon and small baler tucked away in there. Some front loader gear. That is the start farm, the main farm. Also, there's a little, sorry, the water tank. I didn't mention that, but anyway, the water tank is there as well. So that's your main farm / start farm. What we're going to do is we're going to, again, I'm going to keep saying this. A lot of people, a lot of the map tours I've done recently, there's been a lot of negativity, a lot of, we are getting maps ported over from FS22, and talking to the map makers and modders when we were at Lama, it takes a long time, months and months and months to make a new map. I mean, like a new map from scratch. So I guess what a lot of the guys are doing is they're doing their conversions, getting all the FS25 stuff onto their 22 maps to get some content out, to get some stuff out, you know. But they are integrating the FS25 stuff into their 22 maps, which I think, you know, that helps with all of that as well. Because whilst people are saying, yeah, but we're getting the same old maps, we are, but we're getting them with all the FS25 accoutrement, all the stuff that comes with it, you know, which does change the way the game can be played. You've got all the different stuff now, you've got different crop types, but it is that thing. If you've never played on the map, that's awesome. If you've played on the map, and you may have absolutely played hundreds of hours on it, there is a nostalgia to that. There's a kind of, wow, this is awesome, you know, I loved playing this map. Are you going to go back on and do another few hundred hours, or are you looking for something new? That's the thing, isn't it? So people are clamoring, hoping for a new map, and I get that. So up the hill, this is one of the first plots we looked at. This was 177 we purchased. This is just a farm area, almost like a contractor's yard, really. We've got no animal pens or anything up here. We do have a sleep trigger, wardrobe trigger at the little farmhouse just here. We do have a fuel point, we do have a workshop trigger, and we do have a silo. Now again, a lot of the buildings could be removed, but some of the decorative stuff couldn't. And obviously, again, I always say that obviously, not obviously. I suppose I'm saying obviously because you can see it. But if we look out just the side, we've got our grape and olive sort of vineyards, so the vine garden, that's, you know, just out to the side there. So if doing grapes and olives is your thing, this might be one of the farm areas you want to purchase to have all your equipment and machinery up here. You might want to remove some of the barns or even the farmhouse and put in something that suits you better. That's absolutely fine. We come down the hill and we've got the juice factory. I mean, I have got enough. I've got enough money. I've got enough money to buy the productions as we go around as well. But like I say, we have kind of, you know, we can go in and we can see what the recipes are. We know this does apple juice. We know it does cherry juice as well. So this is the factory for making that. And again, if you're not sure what the prices for any of those things are, it's difficult when you're doing a map tour, because I'm trying to show as much stuff as I can. How deep do you go with that without doing a full let's play, you know? And when you've got extra crop types, when you've got extra productions, when you've got these extra things, you could spend 10, 15 minutes just going through showing all the extra crop types. You could go through and I could say, look, these are the prices you get for all these things. But realistically, if you watch the map tour and think, that looks like a kind of map I might want to play, when you come on, you're going to look for those prices. You're going to be going onto the menu and thinking, okay, what am I going to get for those things? And remembering as well, depending on what mods you've got installed, if you've got the crop prices one, and what was the other one as well? Is it fixed prices? Your prices will fluctuate over the course of the year anyway. So that's something you need to kind of be aware of. But anyway, if you're not sure, you can always come in here. You can find whatever item it is and find out what it's going to pay out. I would be surprised if a person makes their choice on whether to play on a map on one product, one price. If I did a map tour and said, look, cherry juice only pays out this, people go, oh, well, that's it, I'm not playing them. I would be surprised. But anyway, there's your juice factory. So like I said, when I did the initial map tour on 22, the gates wouldn't open here, and I thought I'd done something wrong, but it turned out it just didn't. And there were some gates around the map that didn't. They work on here. I'm overjoyed. It just makes life so much easier, doesn't it? So, you know. And I'm not being sarcastic at all. You know, there's nothing worse than when you're doing a map tour to find something that's not working, because it's that thing of you don't want people to say, oh, the map makers are rubbish, because they're not. They're putting a lot of time and effort in, and sometimes things happen with scripting and coding, and something adjusts or alters or tweaks in the conversion over from PC to console, and I get that. I got really hammered on the Silver Run Forest map tour yesterday, and if I'm hyper joy smiley, everything's wonderful, people say, but it's not wonderful because this isn't working, that's wrong, you didn't show this, you didn't say this. If I show the things that aren't working and I'm negative, people are like, why are you being so negative, why are you being so miserable, why are you knocking modders and map makers all the time? What I've always tried to do on every single map tour, and even on the mod reviews as well, is put across a balanced argument, a balanced try to be unbiased if I can be, and say, look, you know, I will try and find all the positives as well, because, you know, I love new maps, I love new mods, I love all the cool stuff that comes out. I really, really do. And without modders and map makers that keep the game fresh and moving forward, where would we be, you know? So I try to give across a balanced argument. So at one point, if I might be saying, look, you know, this isn't working, that's good feedback as well. I know a lot of the map makers and mod makers we spoke to at Lammas said, we appreciate that, because we don't always necessarily know, and you might have found something on your map tour that no one else has found yet, you know, so it's feedback. If I just came on and said, this map's rubbish, don't play it, I've never done that. Never, ever done that. You are free to make your decision based upon what you see, what I say, and if what I say you think I don't agree with you, then go on and download the map, have a look around yourself, and then make an informed decision yourself. I'm just trying to pass on information and show you what's what and what's where and that kind of thing. Anyway, so triggers and stuff, it's interesting, like, just coming off the back of saying that, the triggers don't seem to follow what we are sort of used to for our trigger pattern. We have the unload icon that we're used to seeing, the loading icon, and then we have the manage production or manage facility icon. We seem to have all the same icons for all of the things. So for tipping in for our manure and for our fertilizer seem to be all the same icons, but around the back here is our icon, there you go, for buying the apple orchard. We've already seen the orchards in that menu, so we know there's an apple orchard, we know there's a cherry orchard, we know there's a pear orchard, we know they take manure, we know they take fertilizer. 180 grand, and then once that's up and running, you'll get your pallets spawning for whatever you're going to do with them. And over the way here, and you've got all these big trees out here in your orchards. So over here we have got then the pear orchard and the cherry orchard. Now the other thing I was going to say, I was going to make a quip about it, but again, I did my prep yesterday on this, and I'll be honest, I made a mistake. I'm not beyond admitting I made a mistake. I was doing all my prep for this map tour for the memory, and then Giants dropped the mods, they dropped Silver Run Forest, so I was on my PC, I was like, okay, I was making all my notes, doing stuff for that, and I thought, right, I'll do the Silver Run map tour because I was looking at it at the time, rather than do this one first. I should have done this one first, then done the Silver Run Forest one and did them in order, and I didn't, and that's on me, because people on the Silver Run map tour were saying, why haven't you done the memory? Why have you jumped straight to this one? Again, I'm being accused of being a shill and pushing Giant stuff ahead of other people's. I made a mistake. Yeah, I should have done this one first, because I was already in the process of making my notes and preparing for it. I should have. I didn't. You know, I don't know what to say. Anyway, your pear orchard is here, so your apples, your pears, your cherries. How weird. I am absolutely sure. Maybe I just missed it. I was going to say, the poor old cherry orchard doesn't get a sign. It does. I obviously just didn't see that yesterday. Doesn't matter. It's all good. So there you go. There's your orchards. Let's go from here and have a whiz around. When we get further, I'm just thinking ahead on the map tour. I'm looking at my notes. I'm thinking ahead to some of the things to show. The big farm towards the end, not the very final one, but there's the big one up in the northeast corner of the map. There's some, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. Again, I haven't done a lot of stuff with the constructables. I did a video on constructables when the game was brand new out, because it was like, oh, constructables, that's really cool, and I haven't really done much with them, because I've found with a lot of them, they're a lot more resource heavy than I think maybe they need to be. It's that thing of the concept is great, it's a brilliant idea, but you've got to be running and producing so much other stuff. And you can go and buy the things to make them, but then you find yourself, I'm going to build a shed, brilliant. But if you go and buy the resources to build the shed, the shed ends up costing you an absolute fortune. So it ends up being, you might as well just have been better off just buying a cheap shed. You know, it's unfortunate, it's the way it's been done, but it just, I don't know. You know, it's a cool thing to have, but But yeah, there's some constructibles which I hadn't really come across before, but not how I thought they would be. It will make sense when we get there. I hope it makes sense when we get there. Nothing seems to make sense anymore. So, there's our bakery. The Bakery von Mailer, is it? Mailer? Yes, it is. And that's the one that's got all the extra stuff with the cheesecake and all that. So, yeah, if you want to do the bakery, that's pretty cool. We turn down here. We've got a grain mill out here where the windmill is. Just here, and again, I don't need to show you all. It's a grain mill. It does the grain mill stuff, and you can check in the production list to see what recipes. I wanted to show you in there because any of the productions that do things over and above what the base game does, that's what you want to see. The grain mill is pretty much, again, we can come back in and we can have a look. It's not a problem. Like I say, I don't have to buy them to be able to do that. But if we come into here, have I gone past it already? Oh no, there it is. Old grain mill. Of course it is. It wasn't under G, it was under old. So yeah, I mean, barley, oat, rice flours from the two different rices, sorghum flour and wheat flour. Doesn't do anything, you know, particularly different to a fairly standard grain mill. So there's your production for flour. Just across the way there. We've got the tailor and the spinnery tucked away up here. And again, fairly standard for both. So they're up in this little bit here. Accessed only by this road. I always look as well to see are there other routes in and out, you know. Always looking for that escape route, you never know. Oops, sorry. Sorry, old chap. Right across here, and we've got the dairy. Like I said, again, pretty standard. Then we come up into the, sort of an industrial zone, I guess. So in our little industrial zone just here, another water point there. So there's little hydrants knocking around. Cereal factory to our right, just there. Soup factory, just here. Next door, now it doesn't follow the sort of, I say, the standard setup we're used to. Oil mill is just there. And then sugar mill is just there. So, 4 factories, then we move into the biogas plant. So the biogas plant, very large facility, cost a fair few quid to buy. It's a big old property, 1 megawatt facility as well. We've got this large storage building. The old Herman one in there. We have got a fuel tank and we've got a workshop trigger just here. And then the biogas plant itself, I said about when we bought the biogas plant, you get the biogas plant and with that you get that sugar beet cutter. So because the recipes normally they will take things like that. So the sugar beet cutter is just here. You tip in your beet. That's what you take out of it. And it's just here. There you go. So there's your sugar beet cutter. Again, actually, just have a look at that. So yeah, look at the cycles per month. The cycles per month are off the chart. So the recipe itself is low, 1-to-1, sugar beet cut, but the cycles per month are crazy high. So that should run at a fair old speed. Silage clamps just over here, and then our actual biogas plant itself. And this has extras. So we've got our manure, we've got our silage, we've got our slurry, sugar beet cut, but it does straw as well. But the straw recipe is a little bit different. The other ones are pretty standard, what you put in, but the straw one is silage and straw. So, yeah, whilst it says straw, you're going to require silage as well. But then if you've already put silage in up here, there's already silage in it. So putting straw in, but it will use some of that. You can't just do straw with that. It will require the silage as well. Round the back and up to the facility owners have got their silo. So you can run this like a farm as well if you want to have a big BGA farm thing. So another one of those big silos just there, 5 million litre multi-fruit. Sleep and wardrobe trigger. This house you can go into. Actually, that's what I was going to say. When I did my having a look through, I'm pretty sure this is one of just the base game ones, isn't it? It's not a... There's not one showing as modded anyway. You can go into the building, you can go upstairs if you want to. Sleep and wardrobe trigger just in here. Very nice. We are going to just open the gates here because we're going to come out the back. So this was one of the other plots we purchased. I love the fact you've got this big, you know, the big biogas plant. I mean, there's enough trees and stuff behind it. We've got a pool, we've got a garden. Why shouldn't you be able to have it, you know? Why can't you have a life if you run a biogas plant? Who says you can't? So this is one of the other plots as well. This is the plots to purchase are in the 170s. This was 100 something. We'll have a look. But this one, we have got 2 sheep pens. This is plot 174. Sheep pens, each one holds 72. There are 2 sheep pens. They haven't got pastures. A lot of the fields, and that's why I was saying if I've missed any pastures, I'm sorry. But a lot of the fields have fencing around, and they do look like animal pastures. But when you go into them, bottom right, hang on, please tell me. Oh yeah, farmland, it says, yeah. Owned by, and then it says it's grass, it's growing, you know. It's not showing as a pasture, and nothing as well was. There you go. You can remove the fencing from a lot of the fields as well. If they've got fencing around them, you might have to do it in sections, but you can remove fencing as long as it comes up with that yellow around it. So if you don't want the fencing around, you don't have to. So as far as I can tell, there aren't any other animal pastures. That is a rather sweeping statement. So, heading over here now. The road runs out. There's a river as well. There's a couple of different routes around, but out to our right is out towards the forestry. We'll come back to the map and have a look. So I haven't really done our... so let's go to here and go to there. So we started off at the main farm just here. We came up and then up here to Vinegarten and the juice and then the orchards. We then came down from there all the way down into the town. Various different factories and facilities, biogas plant just here, and then plot 174 here. We've come along here and we've come out onto this road. So this runs back up. There's a bridge here and there's all this stuff, and this leads out to the forestry. There are no sell points or factories or anything out this way. It is predominantly forestry. There are some fields that run along the side of the road here as well. But I'm not heading out that way because, like I say, there's no... Not features is the wrong way of putting it, but you know what I mean. So we've got a route to take. I'm pretty sure I did this before. This is a riverbank, and I'm pretty sure I did it before and thought, oh, that's a road. That's the river. Yeah, you won't really be able to follow that along there. So, has the layout on the map changed? No, the map layout stays as it was on the previous version. But again, it's one of those things, I think, with the addition of the FS25 stuff and some of the FS25 productions, and the fact there's extra products on the map as well anyway. And you'll see as well in a moment, there's some things that, one, I think I may have missed on the previous version when I did the map tour. But there's something that's definitely has been removed. So the map has changed, you know, there is a difference to it. But again, if you've already put hundreds of hours on it, it's got to be one of those maps that you adore so much, you are more than willing to put hundreds more hours down, you know, it's that sort of thing. And only you can decide what map. You know, when people message and say, what's the best map to play on FS22? What's the best map to play on FS25? That is entirely subjective. And I've said it many, many times. What I think is a fantastic map, you might despise. So I can suggest stuff, and I can do what I'm doing now. I can do a map tool that you can look at and go, oh, okay. Right, so we are now at the cow farm. Animal recognition, that's what I should be doing. This is plot 173. This is the horse farm. As you can see, we've got a horse trading facility just here. Now, I couldn't remove any of this, so again, that's something to be aware of. We have a horse pasture that will hold 16 horses just here, and then we have the horse barn, which will also hold 16 horses. So whether you want to have them in here so they can come inside as a barn in the winter and then put them out in the pasture, or have 16 and 16, To be fair, especially on console, 16 horses have a word. I mean, it's you know, we don't have a horse trainer mod. There's no, you know, you have to train you have to ride every horse every day to keep them fit and healthy. 16, and if you're running 32, come on. Which is a pity. It would be cool if there was. What, I've done it again. Wouldn't be a map tour without it, would it? Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have something like that on console. A horse trainer mod. Even if you got charged for it, it wouldn't matter. It is a lot of work. We've stopped a long way back from the line. Because I crashed into you, I'm so sorry. Right, so. Oh, okay. Was not expecting that. Now, on the previous version, I'm pretty sure the train you could send off, but I thought it wouldn't work. There was a reason. What did I say? I can't remember now. But the train's fixed now. We are at a train station, but it is fixed. We've got the warehouse sell point just here. We've got the warehouse just here. So for purchasing of anything palleted can be done from here. I'd say the train is fixed now. You don't send the train off anywhere. I think this is actually the end of the line. Previous version, it went off into a tunnel around there, if I recall. So, anyway. And then just over here we've got... Now, it's AT, but lowercase. I don't know if it's... I wrote I think I put an exclamation mark by it. At depot. Does it mean I'm at the depot, or is it AT depot? And again, I'm not being pedantic. I just don't want to get it wrong, because the AT is not capitalised. So I don't know. But anyway, AT depot, at depot is just here. So we've got a bit of a drive now. I was saying not too bad a drive actually. And this was one of those things. It was that I was waiting for something to come up because my memory, interesting enough, fits well, doesn't it? Said to me, oh yeah, on the previous version there was. So I'm driving on this road thinking, that's weird. Why have I not come to, you know? And that's what I'm saying. I think it had been removed. There was a little village, and it was this old, lovely sort of stone, and a little, almost like a little plaza, town square, and it was these old sort of stonework buildings, gone. I assume demolished, I don't know. So if we turn down here, I do like the cobbled look on the street as well. I think it's very cool. There's a few little roads like that as well. Some edged, some not. But yeah, when we got to here, just down to the right there, there's a little parking bay and you can overlook the lake. There was a town here. What I'm not dreaming that, am I? There was a town. Anyway, there's not on this version, but you know. Then we come through to the next purchasable area, which is plot 172, just here. This is a big old chicken farm. I'll just stop there, open the gates, and hop back in. Just to check my recording time. I need to speed up. So, shed and building space just here. Sleep and wardrobe trigger just over here. This is another one. We're right on the map edge, so I don't think you can actually remove either of those buildings because I couldn't reach them. So 5 milliliter multi-fruit silo. Then we have our chicken barns, and these were part of the required mods, I think. These were 700 chickens, I think, in each one. Pretty sure they were. Oh, so I say, why can't we open the gate? But anyway, yeah, so 2 of them, 700 chickens. Lovely job. From here, now, again, this is what I was going to say. I don't know if it's been added in or whether I just completely missed it. But there's a little road that runs down here towards the lake, and there's another big parking area, and you can go down and just enjoy the lake. Just enjoy a bit of time down by the lake. But what was in the lake? As I came over the brow of the hill, I was like, what is that? I'm not sure if I'm using it for the thumbnail or not yet, because I haven't done my thumbnail yet, but we'll cut across the grass and you'll see it. There's a partially sunk galleon, pirate, no, I say pirate ship, that's a sweeping, you know, it could be anything, couldn't it? But, yeah, That's... what? Anyway, very cool. So, just thought I'd show it. It is a feature of the map that's been added in. We definitely need to speed up. Right, so I'm going to go across and I'm going to cut up the side of a field, because I did this again. I thought this track ran all the way up to the main road, but it doesn't. It stops here at the field edge, and I apologise for anyone who doesn't like to see crops being down. I'm not damaging them. We're all right. We're okay. If I go too close to the verge, it's quite bumpy. I have to be careful. Don't want to get a puncture or smash an axle or something like that. Anyway, right. Let's continue. I will show you where we are and where we've been. I personally find when people do that on map tours, and it just helps you get an idea. You can reconcile what you're seeing on the ground with the map. So, turn just here. We've got a sell at one of the sell points. It is a farmers market sell point, but this is listed as to the open hall door is what it says. That's the sell point just there. Then we turn in here to which is the sawmill and carpentry. Now this is where I first encountered our first NPC. So our carpentry is fairly standard. Our sawmill is a fairly standard sawmill just there, and our carpentry is over the back there. These shipping containers, I'm sure were here on the previous version, but they may have had a different function, because this is the bizarrest thing. Up on top of there is Noah. You can go and say, there's ladders that go up. That's Noah's castle, where he oversees the world. But anyway, that's Noah, NPC. You can go and have a chat to Noah. And then over the back here, we've got 2 cell stations, one for wood chip and one for stones just there. Across the other side from here, we have got the animal dealer. So animal dealer sell point, and Katie is just over there. So if you want to ask anything animal related, Katie is there for a chat. We have a feed buy point. If you're wondering what feed can be purchased here, don't worry, got it covered. Well, I haven't got it covered, they've got it covered. It says on there, total mixed ration, mineral feed, pig food, bosh. There may be some other things. I didn't bring a trailer over. I saw that and thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Made stuff a little bit easier. So animal feed can be purchased from there. And then we've got 2 sell points. We've got livestock trade grain, which is this one here, and we've got livestock trade bales, which is this one just here. Onwards. Whoa, overcooked it. Steering's gone a bit squirrely for some reason. This is one of those maps, it's very deceptive. When you come on and I first started making my notes, well, it's not too bad, and then you start buying the next property and the next property, and then as I started going around doing my prep, I'm thinking, there's a lot more on this map, I think it was on the first time round, it's got a lot going on. So, next, once again, I'm not going to go into them and but again, these are ones that the gates didn't work on the previous version, they do now, so you don't have to worry. Off to our left hand side, we've got the potato processing plant, that's just to the left there. Just tucked up, and there's a little up to the back, there's a little side turning somewhere. Where is it? Just here. We have got our preserved food factory. So our preserved food factory is up here, and again the gates do open, so I haven't got to worry. So preserved food factory is just there. We then come from there. We have a water point, and at the end, again I'm pretty sure it was a sell point, but it was like an open barn type sell point. This has all been changed. Look at all this. Incorporating a load of the Farming Simulator 25 stuff here, which I think is pretty cool. Another water point just there. But just over here, we've got the... look at that, Sunflower Cafe sell point. It's very picturesque. So there's a sell point just there for the Sunflower Cafe. Lovely. Back to the map, just so you can see. So we went all the way down here. So from the biogas plant all the way down there. We came down there to the horse farm. Down there to the sell points, the warehouse, and the AT depot. Then we came up and along this road here out to that area, and we went a quick look down there and look at the galleon. We came up here to the sell points here, sawmill, carpentry, and Noah. Katie, animal dealer, and then the farmer's market. We've come up here. So our potato processing, processed or food processing, processed food, sell point there, water point. And this is the big plot that we said about here. That one there was plot 170, which takes in all of this land and all of this stuff. And this was where I got a little bit confused because there's all these icons. Look, if you click on that, that says Farm Garage 1. And those icons are the icons for bringing things to build them. So these are constructables. But they're already constructabled. I know it's constructed, but yeah, they're already up and constructed. So whilst they're showing as icons to bring things, but I'm not sure how though. But anyway, yeah, they're already done and dusted. Sleep and wardrobe trigger just here. I said about the extra raised beds and stuff. So there's 2 more raised beds just here. 5 milliliter silo just there. We do have a bale and pallet storage for 250 items just here. And then round the other side of these we do have a workshop trigger and fuel point, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I'm thinking there's no more resources required because they're already built. But I didn't think, if you go into build mode and we go along to our constructables, I thought when you bought a constructable, because I did a video on it, when you place that, it puts a little construction site for you to... So that's weird that the map maker would have already constructed them. Or were these supposed to be sat here as construction sites? Is that glitched or something? It's very weird. Anyway, they're here. They're buildings and barns. Fuel point. Just inside there is your workshop trigger. Your workshop trigger outside. So all these barns and buildings can be entered. You can go into them and use them. So, you know, they are accessible, which is very, very helpful indeed. So, heading up to the top part of the farm. Shed space just here. I think we might just do it in time, I hope. I'm not sure. So, there's a lot of information to pass on this map, and I want to pass it all on. So, shed space just here, silage clamps just over to our left here. Over to our right here, we've got 2 cow barns. Each one of those cow barns will do some cows. 35 in each. Yes, 35 in each of those cow barns. And then this one over here is one of those, one of the modded, required mods, cow barn with feed robot. This one does 500 cows. And it's the one where you put the stuff in around the side there, which we've seen. The robot then comes from there, takes a little bit from each of them, then follows the track all the way around, hanging. It's very cool. Just there, so that does 500. Liquid slurry tank just there. Big open expanse, loads of space, so if you want to add more stuff in you can. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, because I'm curious now. They're only £1,000, aren't they? We've got space, haven't we? Overlaps to objects. Put that in. Yeah, puts it in as a building site. There's got to be some reason why or how, but anyway. So from here we're going to run down the outside of it this time rather than go back through the yard. There's a little track here. So if you don't want to go through the yard every time but you want to go up to your cows, you can use this little side track. As I often find myself sidetracked. Right, quick run around over the top. And we're going to come to the vehicle shop area. But it is lovely open countryside, nice sweeping landscape. I haven't mentioned it, but the lighting's good, colour palette's nice. So we should come to a roundabout. Whoa. Just here. So we do have some buy points here. We'll do the buy points first. So this is your vehicle shop, workshop, large facility. Over to our right hand side We have a purchase area. We've got various different silos holding different things, and I've got to get this right. I did list them. We've got liquids. Oh, it shows them on the front. There you go. So liquid herbicides and liquid fertilizers just there. Back corner was salt. Yeah, salt. Then we had solid fertilizer. Then we had seed. And then we had lime. Excellent stuff. I wrote it down. They're all. I didn't even notice the fact I had the signs on the front. Makes life easy. Reset point on the map is here. This area here in front of us. This is the reset point. If we drive through the middle of here, Walter should be knocking around somewhere. He's about for a chat. Where was he? Where was he hiding? Oh, over here, look. Just hanging out at the store. If you want to ask him some questions, you absolutely can. Grandpa, Walter, yeah, if you want to. So our vehicle shop trigger is here. The vehicle workshop icon. So the workshop is across the way. So the workshop is here. And then hanging out at the vehicle workshop, I don't know if these guys like quick fit. They'll come out with a trolley jack and wallop. We've got Ben and David hanging out together. So come have a chat to Ben and David. Any questions about exhausts? They're your men. And then just across the way there, we've got our gas station point here at the vehicle store. Gas station is just over here. Back out. And we are now heading to the final farm on the map. Like I say, I'm pretty sure I've done the same route I did last time. I might have gone round the biogas plant a different route. I might have gone clockwise rather than anti-clockwise. I know. I'm losing my mind. Who does that kind of thing? It just makes sense. It's see, for me, I'll come on and I'll look on the map and I'll work out a route. And if my brain says, yeah, but didn't you do that route on the last map tour? But if it's the most efficient way to get around and show everything, why would I be... I can't be inefficient. So yeah, what I'll do a worse route. I'll take longer just to be different to how I was. No. We'll crack on and get it done. So, down to this farm here. This is plot 171. You saw me buy them all at the start. You can always stop the video at any point to see, prices and that kind of stuff. So, plot 171. It's a lovely farm. Some really nice details as well on these various different things. I love all this stuff. Gates open, look. Oh, look at that. Sleep and wardrobe triggers just here. Garden plot to our front. So this is the garden, which is different to the raised bed. It's just a different look. Price is exactly the same, but yeah, lovely looking. It does the same stuff. So lovely little farm area. Come out from here. Silo round the back for our 5 million litres. Now this is an interesting one. Slurry tank is just there. It's that thing of using required mods. We've got our workshop trigger here, and I think this workshop trigger might be one of the additionals, or it might be the one that comes with this shed. So this shed's been put in, it's got a workshop trigger, fine. Fuel point just here. But then this shed's been put in, which also has a workshop trigger just in here. It doesn't matter if you've got 2 workshop triggers. You might have a lot of repairs need to be done. Get both vehicles in at the same time, why not? And then we move on to our pigs. So this is the pig farm, 279 in each one, and we have 2 of these right next to each other for doing our pigs. So this is the pig farm for the map. And then we have the castle up on the hill. The roadway we just came up and we turned to come down here to the farm. If you continue along that lovely little cobble paved road, it runs round the mountainside and takes you up to the castle. You can go and visit. That's the map. That's the memory by Princess Black. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, thanks for watching.